The 2022 federal budget that was released yesterday is garnering mixed reviews here in the Northwest. Big ticket items like mining support are being given a thumbs up from business leaders and opposition members. But the lone Conservative MP in this region isn't a fan of the deficit topping $50 billion. Corey Nordstrom has more.
There's certainly some positives and negatives, I think, in the budget.
Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce President Charla Robinson said she was expecting more funds directly tied to helping the hospitality sector rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic.
They've been really hit hard, and we sort of hoped that there would be a continuation of the hardest hit funding programs past the current deadline, and that hasn't been announced. So disappointed that that extension hasn't been announced in this budget.
The 2022 budget is more prudent than many expected, coming in with a deficit of $52.8 billion, less than half of last year's. But Kenora Conservative MP Eric Malillo sees it as only baby steps towards a balanced budget, which the Liberals don't come close to achieving until 2027.
There's currently no plan to get back to balance with this budget. And that's despite the fact that the Parliamentary Budget Officer has stated that the need for stimulus is no longer there, that the justification is gone. And I'm concerned because we know that this spending is going to drive up inflation and drive up the cost of living.
A bright spot for both Malillo and Robinson was the investment into mining. Canada is committing $3.8 billion for the exploration and procurement of critical minerals.
I think that's going to be positive for our region because there's so many projects that are sort of sitting on the cusp of being ready.
Minister Patty Hajdu points out that her government has also pledged $4.3 billion over 7 years to improving Indigenous housing.
There's a critical shortage of housing on First Nations and for First Nations people off reserve as well. The North is an acute area. Many people have talked about the sparsity of housing in really far north communities. So this is, I think, an ambitious plan to build houses as aggressively as we can.
The Indigenous Services Minister is also anticipating a dozen of the 34 boil water advisories in First Nations to be lifted in the next year, as they're adding $247 million for water and wastewater systems. It's all a part of $10.6 billion for Indigenous initiatives. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.